Welcome to We Don't Have Cookies with your host, Jason Marshall.
Hey everybody, thanks for downloading the show. My guest today has been on the show many times and I'm excited to talk to him, so let's get to it. Some men and women have been referred to as a king or queen of the silver screen while they're on top of the movie world. This lady is the queen of the smartphone screen. It's the one and only Elena Davies. How you doing?
I liked that intro quite a bit.
Thank you.
Might even change my Instagram bio.
I would love that. I made a
rebrand.
I made a wanted poster for you and I texted it to you. I thought it was hilarious and I showed
Wait, you made a wanted poster for me?
Yeah. It didn't go through?
Did I look at it? Did I respond to that? I feel like I would have seen that and like LOL'd.
I thought so. What scared me is
I also drink a lot, so
I showed it to my wife and she was like, Jason, she's going to kill you. And then you didn't reply. So now I was wondering what you really thought about it, but you didn't see it.
Wait, you texted it to me?
Yeah.
Hang on, let me find it really fast. I'm so good at having a phone. Oh my God, Elena. I didn't see this. Wanted for lack of communication and general disregard for Jason Marshall. Then you see her, please call us next 1-800-YEE-HAUL.
I had to put an L at the end to make it, a full thing.
That is the funniest thing ever. Also, I really appreciate that you found the worst photo of me. It looked, I could have sent you my old passport photo because it straight up looks like a mugshot.
Mm-hmm.
But that one's cute too. It looks like a mugshot and it looks like I'm crying in it. So,
yeah, it took me a while to find one where you didn't look happy or like you were posing, so.
Yeah, it's because I was crying in it. And honestly, this is really even funnier because yesterday I was on my, what did you call it earlier? The iPhone screen. Yeah. Scrolling around and I found a whole Instagram page dedicated to hot girls who have been arrested. And It's called like mugshot hotties or something. Man, why did I not send that to myself for like later to remember? But I feel like I should be featured now. Like mugshot baddies maybe. I don't know. I feel like I deserve a feature from them as well.
I'm absolutely horrible at social media, but you're great at it. Do you have any tips?
Post your best picture out of the 247 you take,
and
then put presets on it and make your caption funny.
Do you think maybe my problem is I don't post?
Oh, that could help. I was just assuming, that, if you're on it, you're doing it kind of a thing.
Yeah, I only get on Instagram, and that's about it. So I probably should work on that.
I'm getting worse and worse as time goes on at communicating in general on all platforms. I do okay on Instagram, but Facebook and Twitter are really dying down. And you're lucky to get a text back from me if you have my phone number at all.
Well, this is something that I've been dying to ask you about. One of the biggest reasons I wanted to bring you back on the show. How have things been going with Cummy Dee?
Honestly, things are beautiful. I think that we have like a really good connection and I just think he gets me in a way that like most men don't. And I feel like he's put honestly more effort into our relationship than any man has with me ever.
Wow.
Just the time that it takes to sit there and write such beautiful things about me and then to mix it and produce it and, purposefully misspell words to make it funnier, like make the whole experience funnier. I think it's just the effort that goes so far with me and means so much.
That's good to hear. I was really curious. I thought it was either going to go really well or there was going to be a restraining order. I wasn't sure.
No, I think it's great. I really respect him and I love how he loves me.
All right. Good to hear.
And that's all thanks to you.
Well, I'm glad I was able to make that happen. It was a lot of fun to surprise you on that episode. I'll have a link in the show notes too.
It's the best surprise of my life, quite possibly.
Well, I like to do a thing on the show called a question from my last guest, where I ask a question from my last guest to give me a question for my next guest without my last guest knowing who my next guest will be. The question can be silly or serious. Elena, are you ready for a question from my last guest?
I think I'm ready. I've been preparing my life for this, so it all comes down to this.
Here it is.
If you can play any sport against any athlete or famous person in the world, what sport would that be and who would it be?
Oh, weird question. I think that I would want to play golf with Chrissy Teigen.
Really? That was an interesting answer.
Because golf is a long sport. So if I had said like volleyball, like our match would probably be over in like maybe 10 minutes. But golf, I'll get to hang with Chrissy Teigen for like at least 4 hours. But with how bad I am at this sport, probably more like 6 to 7 hours. And it's a drinking sport. So we could get hammered together.
I like that answer. That's a very good answer.
And drinking with me for 7 hours, you don't get out of that without being my best friend. So ultimately, now I'm best friends with Chrissy Teigen.
Nice. You know, fun.
Isn't that good?
Yeah. And fun fact, the girl who was the intro girl.
Wait, the intro girl?
Yeah. She does the intro to the show. It wasn't the first one, but the second one. Her name's Holly. She's a good friend of mine. Love that kid. She actually looks a lot like Chrissy Teigen.
Oh, well, then maybe if it doesn't work out between me and Chrissy Teigen, Holly can just step in.
There you go. I'll put in a word for you. One of my favorite things on Instagram is Trailer Trash Tammy. If you're not following her, go do it right now. That and Frankie MacDonald. But
what about me?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You had the person who created the character, Chelsea Lynn, on your podcast. What was that like? Because she seems like a lot of fun.
Oh, I mean, she's like my dream come true. I'm obsessed with her. She came over to my mom's house, had a spread of like all of my favorite snacks in the world and some just like really weird shit just to see, you know, like, because I thought it'd be funny. Probably like $200 worth of food.
Wow.
I brought her like gift cards and gifts. I was literally like starstruck by her. I was so excited to podcast with her. And we just had so much fun. And she carried me around like a little baby around my mom's house. And I'll literally never forget that. The background on my phone.
What was some of the weird stuff that you bought?
I honestly good question. I don't even remember. We did this over the summer. And I remember going to the grocery store and getting all of my favorite things. And then just seeing like, I think I got, like the spray cheese. And I'm a big cheese fan, but come on, that's trash. Like, if we're going to do it, we should do it. And I was like, I bet she would eat that with me. Like, if anybody would, like, Chelsea Lynn would do this with me. And I was hoping maybe we could, like, do, like, a little mukbang together. But we ran out of time. But we have plans for the future. Like, we're definitely going to mukbang. We're going to record some, like, YouTube videos and, like, eat together. And, like, we want to both take a picture of our boobs together. Like, be in a photo with our tops off.
Nice.
That's literally on my list of things to do. But, yeah, I'm obsessed with her. She's the best. And if people are not following her, it's a disservice to your own self, honestly.
Yeah, she's very funny. I'd love to have her on the podcast someday. She's and she seems like a good person.
I think that's the best part about her is she has this character and this like persona online and it's hilarious, but like her straight to the core is biggest heart of anyone ever. So genuine and kind and thoughtful. And I couldn't be more impressed by her.
I love your podcast, the Miscellaneous Podcast, which recently won an iHeartRadio award for the hardest name to spell. What?
I thought you were about to give me like legitimately my second biggest surprise in the world to find out that I actually somehow won like an award for my podcast and didn't find out about it, because that's some shit I would do. Like that is literally right up my alley. And I honestly wouldn't have been shocked, but that's really funny.
They texted you to let you know and you just didn't see it.
Honestly, I misspell my podcast all the time. It's fine.
What's been the most shocking thing to happen on your podcast?
Oh, good question. Oh, man. It might be finding out that Chelsea Lynn put a cucumber inside of her vagina with her husband and then served it to her family later.
Yeah, that's at least got to be up there.
It might be that. There are some other things I would say, like getting on and trying to tell my story about Cummy Dee originally, which none of this ever aired. And you know that because you were working with me at the time. And I couldn't find my Pornhub masturbation parody songs by Cummy Dee online.
Yeah.
And I was shocked, stunned, heartbroken. That was shocking, but not in a good way.
Yeah, I remember that. And I was really sad that we had to edit that out because that would have been a lot of fun.
It would, but you made up for it, so it's fine.
Well, Cummy Dee isn't the only one who wrote a song about you. One of my listeners wrote a song about you on a past episode. I told him you were coming back, and he sent in another one for you.
Oh, my gosh. Bless my life with it, please.
My name is Elena, and I just want to go to the bar to see the movie Avatar with my friend Scar.
This is amazing.
Because I want to show everyone there I want to one day become a movie star so I can hold up in the car and see that my new movie is going to be called Star because I'm always wanted to be a superstar.
He's got away with words, you know?
Yeah, that's John the Songman. He's a great listener.
I love it.
Well, it was great having you on the show today. I know how busy you are, so I appreciate you taking time out for me. And hopefully we can do this soon.
Happy to be on.
Is there anything you want to promote before you go? Social media, podcast, stuff like that?
Yeah, just come hang out with me on Instagram at Elena Davies, Elena Davies, and all my podcast information, everything you need to know about me is on that page. But yeah, I would love for people to come be my friend online and listen to my podcast.
Sounds good. And I encourage everybody to do that. Always a good person to follow. I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be back with the podcast's official weatherman, Frankie MacDonald.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, the world's most dangerous man. You're listening to We Don't Have Cookies.
Want to contact the show? Send an email to jason@wedon'thavecookies.com or call 929-266-9342 and leave a voicemail.
I am back, and joining me as always is the world's most famous meteorologist and YouTube sensation, the one and only Frankie MacDonald. Frankie, what will the weather be like this week starting on Monday?
Going to start off as milder than normal all across New York City and eastern United States, and then the cold air is going to come all the way from northern Canada. That's going to drive all the cold air all the way down Texas, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Arkansas, and all these places. It's going to bring lots of snow in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on Tuesday, and Madison, Wisconsin, and all these places.
What will the weather be like internationally?
It's going to be lots of snow in Moscow, Russia later on in the week, and it's going to bring more windstorms in England. And there's a couple of tropical cyclones in South Pacific. It's not affecting New Zealand nor Australia.
Wow. Sounds like a lot to be prepared for out there, Frankie.
And my YouTube channel has 225,000 subscribers. I got 48 comedy videos on my comedy playlist on my YouTube channel.
Nice. What's your favorite one so far?
Guy tries to eat 50 hot dogs at once.
Which one's the one that you've done most recently?
The last comedy video I did back in January is Guy tries to eat 50 broccoli burgers at once.
I watched that. It was very funny. I talked to you a while back. You said that you were going to a wrestling event. Did you go to that?
I got into that last week.
Oh, was it fun?
It was fun.
Good. Who's your favorite wrestler?
The Undertaker. And he's in WWE. And I know that there's a couple other guys that went to high school with me. He's a professional wrestler now.
Oh, nice.
Brody Steele traveled all the way from Halifax, Nova Scotia to Sydney just to wrestle.
Wow. That's a long way. I like The Undertaker, too. A lot of good memories of that guy.
You'll probably travel to Sydney one day.
Yeah, hopefully you will.
My book is Be Prepared to Find Dog Guide to Life, Weather, and everything. People can order my book on Amazon.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to promote before you go?
My bobbleheads is on National Bobbleheads Hall of Fame. People can buy Talking Frank now bobbleheads on the National Bobbleheads Hall of Fame Museum website. When they press the button, my bobblehead talks, and people can pre-order it. There's a new version coming out because a lot of factories shut down in China because of coronavirus. Malls are empty, and it's pretty isolated in China because of coronavirus outbreak going on right now.
And I do recommend you guys go get one of those bobbleheads when they become available. Go ahead and pre-order it. I have the last one, and I really like it. And my friends do too. I had somebody over not too long ago. They saw it up on my desk and really enjoyed it.
They really enjoyed my bob with some of your friends. Best luck to you. I'm Frankie MacDonald. You're listening to We Don't Have Cookies.
Well, that ended kind of suddenly. On the first We Don't Have Cookies retro show earlier this month, I made a secret list of 5 possible guests and asked Mike Morris, who was on the first episode, to pick a number between 1 and 5. The number that he picked was Mike Canistero's number. I reached out to Mike about being a guest on the show next month, and he will be here for the second ever retro show. I also got an email from the Australian filmmaker Guff. His very first time on the show was on an episode with Mike Canistero. So Guff will be returning on that retro show to talk about his latest film called How to Treat Women. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about. He sent me a screener of it, and I'm looking forward to watching that this week. Which brings us to this week's Strange Days. If you're listening to this on the day it comes out, Monday, February 24th, is Tortilla Chip Day. I will definitely be celebrating that. Wednesday is Pistachio Day. There's another one that I'm going to be celebrating. I have 3 or 4 bags around the house. I love pistachios. Thursday is International Polar Bear Day. Lost me on that one. Will not be celebrating that. Friday is Public Sleeping Day. Don't recommend it. Not a good idea. And Sunday is World Compliment Day, so go outside and yell compliments to the world about how green the grass is or whatever. Sorry for not having a show up last week. I was having some tech issues again. I thought it was fixed, but as you could tell, it wasn't. I don't want to get too technical or bore you with the details, but sometimes things work and sometimes they don't. So I'm going to have to replace some stuff. If you want to throw a few bucks my way to help out, go to WeDon'tHaveCookies.com, click that donate button at the bottom of the page. Only do that if you can afford it though. And if you do donate, you don't have to give more than a few dollars. I need around, I don't know, like $100 or so, and any amount helps no matter how small it is. And before I go, I said that I made a wanted poster and texted it to Elena earlier in the show. I will have a pic of that up on the podcast Instagram page. I'm going to try to start posting there at least 2 or 3 times a week from now on. I don't use Twitter or Facebook much, but I'm on Instagram every day. So follow me there at We Don't Have Cookies, all one word. I hope you have a great week. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show and leave a review. See you next time.
That is the funniest thing ever.